All right, you ready for some food for thought? Get it? Food for thought? I know. I'm still working out my comedy routine. I'm just going to dump all this web development business and do that full time soon enough. Just waiting for it. Anyway, let's talk about imagery for a second. We have these images over here, and then we have this background image over here. Now, these images have two distinct roles in their intent. Um, this background image over here is purely cosmetic, right? I mean, we could actually eliminate this background image and it wouldn't really make much of a difference. It's not part of the content. It's stylistic imagery that's just there to um, enhance the aesthetic of the page. But the images over here represent something different. These are actually part of the content of the site. And examples of roles, let's just say we have this text here, and if we don't have these images, it sort of makes this text, well, irrelevant or wrong or whatever. So long story short, everything in HTML versus CSS is style versus semantic content, right? So far, everything we've done so far has nothing to do with style. I mean, okay, we did a little business with the MailChimp just because it had some default styles, but let's not let's pretend that is not a big thing for us. You know what I mean? Essentially, what we're talking about here, though, is saying that these images need to be added in the HTML, but we won't be adding this background image in HTML because it's purely aesthetic. So we're going to add that in CSS. So long story short, these images are content. Therefore, we're green lighted to add them in the HTML. And that's an important thing to remember while you're working, just on keeping it clean, keeping your code clean, and keeping those separation of concerns. So, okay, anyway, let's get right into it. So first thing is that we actually need this text over here in this section. So let's go in here. We go H2, bam, examples of roles, okay. And then we got some paragraph text, just keeping it consistent with what we had before. Yummy examples, cool. And now let's actually add these images. So here's the folder that I have that I'm working through, and here's the index file that we're looking at in my editor. I have my images inside of an IMG folder, my image folder, right? So now, the reason why that's important is we have to actually set up our paths to these guys. So, with that said, let's start the image element. So IMG, okay, that's saying we got an HTML image. We're ready to rock and roll. I mean, okay, we could just call it quits right there. Here's an HTML image tag. But now we actually have to give it the image that is going to be a part of it. So that's going to be our source image. So src equals, and then we got two double quotes over there. Okay. Well, where am I going? Since my index.html file is here, in order for me to get into that, to link to that image, first thing I need to do is actually mention that folder that it lives in. So img / okay. And then what? Then we have this image. Now I'm the one who named these just for myself because it'll be easier. Spring roll 1, 2, and 3. These are the images that I'm going to be using over here. Well, cool. So what I'll do is I'm just going to copy and paste the name of those guys. And now I have that right here. Whoops. Let me put a space between image and source. And I'll save it. This is semi-complete, but it's going to generate an error with something called a validator. We can cover that later. But essentially, we need some kind of text to describe this image. Not necessarily something visual, but even when I look over here, we need something that if people are using the readers, like if they're blind and they're trying to see this page and they get to an image, no good in just having the image there, because guess what? they can't see it, so you need to describe it for them. So that's where our alt tag comes in. And you know what? You want to put something good there. And I go, so my spring roll 1, let me just see what spring roll 1 is. Spring roll 1, the insides. Okay. The insides. And I say tie spring rolls. Okay. And now I'm just going to copy and paste the rest of this stuff because I got 2 and 3, but I'm not going to keep all the alt tags the same, right? So I got tie spring roll 2, spring roll 3, and let's see, what's spring roll 2? Awesome dipping sauce. Okay. The awesome peanut dipping sauce. Yes. And what's the last one? Okay. Nah, what is that? Ready to serve. Yeah, there we go. Ready to serve. Okay. I mean, that's it. Let's just double check. Actually, you know what? Since I'm here, I know that we got just some Mickey Mouse content in our footer for now. So I'll just copy and paste this too before we even do the preview. We'll put it in there. Bam, bam, bam. That's not worth its own video, but okay, so let's see what our example looks like now. Give her a refresh. Up. Oh, cool. Look at that. So here's our images ready to go. We got a footer. And okay. We got obviously a lot more to go over here as far as styling goes. But at this point, we are all done with our content. There isn't anything more that we need to add, so we're ready to get into some styling.